5:30. November 12th. PlayStation 5 day. So I tried to sleep early last night, but I was too excited. I was like a kid at Christmas. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's been like 7 years since the PlayStation 4. All right, mission accomplished. Couldn't have gone smoother, honestly. Yeah, I was freezing cold for about 10 minutes, and then I got my PlayStation 5, and my heart got all warm and fuzzy. Whew, can't wait to get hands-on with this thing. Get it in the house, get it all set up. Let all you guys know what I think. You know, Game Club's gonna be covering this as soon as possible. Just waiting for Sean's to come in, and yeah. Yes! Oh, baby. Gonna go set this up and play some Bug Snacks. I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna play Bug Snacks.
Welcome to a special edition of Game Chat where we're giving our PS5 Day 1 impressions. Chase and I both ended up getting a PlayStation 5. Chase got the disc edition and I got the digital up here. Nice. Chase, you've had a lot more time with it than I have. Why don't we start off with what you thought overall, or just give us your base impressions?
First off, I blame FedEx on that one. I just gotta say that. No, anyway, man, everything is Sackboy. Hold on, everything has just been like exactly kind of not exactly how I expected it to be, but like going through the setup. I watched so many videos, man, because I'm such a nerd. So like going through it, it was just like it was smooth. It was easy. It was 6:10 a.m. in the morning. I got the console at 6. I think I was playing games by 6:15. Like it was just like pop, pop, pop. Here we go. First thing I did was start my Demon Souls download, and then hopped into Astro's playroom because I wanted to really like see what the controller is all about, because that's what everybody says. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. The haptics on what little I did play of Astros, because I was kind of fighting my kids over who got to play it for a while. It was the vibrations and everything, the way it worked, the way where
Crazy.
an animation would go across the screen and you could feel it like go across the entire controller was like super cool. The resistance in the triggers and stuff was.
Yeah, I honestly thought when they first showed the adaptive triggers, I thought they were broken. Like immediately, I was like, "What the?" Oh, like there was just enough tension there where I was like, "I don't want to break it," and it's like, "Oh, okay, no," and it just feels so cool. But it's this really interesting trick, right? Like it's called the DualSense because it's like touch and audio.
Right.
To me, that's how I see it, and it's like you can feel it kind of tap at you and do its thing, and then the audio through the controller alters how you feel about what's happening in the controller, because I'm convinced there are, maybe in Astro's playroom, you have all these different environments you walk through.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's like 4 or 5 different footsteps maybe, but that combined with the audio makes each one feel really unique and dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that didn't get talked about a lot and happens a lot in Astros, and I also noticed it in Demon Souls, was audio playing out of the controller, almost as if like, you know, a surround sound setup, like it's an additional close-up, adds kind of
like a
to
center
like
speaker.
adds to the whole experience. It gives you the vibration and the sound at the same time.
Yeah, it's really wild, man. Like I everything that everybody said about it being like, it's not talked about enough, you know, this is amazing and all this stuff.
Or it's the most
true.
next gen part about these
The
consoles in general is like this. And
Kinda.
And I definitely thought, like, even on some what I'll call regular games, I just felt like the vibrations were different. Instead of having these larger motors that's giving you this like large or like quickly, you know, rumble, like it was more fine-tuned. Right, like you could have lighter ones, and even in when I was playing God of War backwards compatible, like the vibrations just felt different. It didn't feel as like bumpy and like big wave. It was like like it's hard to explain without feeling it, but it was definitely, there's obviously more intricacies to this level of haptics and feedback.
Yeah, it's and it shows. And again, Astro's playroom is like designed around it, so it's perfect for it. and I'll talk about it without being spoilery because there's so many cute, awesome little nods to everything. It's super sweet.
Yeah.
But I've gone through I think 3 of the 4 worlds in completion, and just being vague. But when it rains, like it's like it feels like it's raining.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the weather effects I noticed too, or just like general
Nuts.
stuff, like what you were walking over was like slightly different and stuff. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, and it's like all of that's happening while other things are happening. I think Yongye was the one who called it like surround sound for your hands. And it's like I can't think of a better descriptor. Like you'll be walking into wind, but if you turn your character, you'll have a stronger, like if you turn your character's like right shoulder towards the wind, you feel that more powerfully on the right side of the controller. And it's just like, it's all these weird subtle things that it's just really cool. Like now when I played some Sackboy Big Adventure and stuff, and there's some of that in there. There's a little bit of that, not to the ridiculous degree, but I was happy to see that. But when I'm playing Demon's Souls, I'm like, oh man, could you just pushed it a little more? Like it's so cool. Like I would like to feel the blade like hit, you know, like, and like if you hit a wall, maybe the trigger like jams or something on a strong attack. I don't know, but
trailing off that Demon's Souls, what did you think of this, the remake? Like you've played it, I haven't. I didn't play it in the past. I never had a PS3. What's your take on that?
I love it, man. I was gonna make a joke and be like, I don't know, it feels like a PS3 game because it is. Like the DNA is the exact same.
Yeah.
And then they just made it look really, really, really good. And that's all I could ask for. Like if they changed too much, it would just lose its identity. And it's still very much the game that I bought a PS3 for.
Yeah. Is
the game I bought this PS5 for. I said it before, but now it's like it couldn't be more true. Like it's the same game, just awesome-er. Like it's
no, that's a good way to put it. And you know, I bought the PlayStation 4 for Bloodborne off your recommendation like 2 days before it came out. I wasn't even interested in it, and then I saw some gameplay. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Never played a Soulsborne game in my life before, and played it, and that kind of got me hooked on that whole, you know, series and gameplay style. Because you know, Neo and even God of War has a lot of like Souls in it, like DNA realistically. And it just kind of got me hooked. And so to play the original so far, I think it's been really, really cool. You can see where stuff from later games, you can see where like its origin was in this game, right? And like kind of how they expanded and improved upon that, with especially Bloodborne being the spiritual successor. But yeah, it kind of took me off guard though, because it does feel very much like a PS3 game, almost semi-clunky in some ways, but I don't want to say that it's bad either, because playing in performance mode, it is smooth as butter. It's just it looks so good. Looks so good.
It looks so good, and it plays so smooth. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't ask for a better for you introduction to the series, man. Like that's so cool. Like, I know that the AI is the same. It's just like it's video game AI.
Yeah.
It's not creative. It's not smart.
There's some guys where I'm just like, is it really this easy? But it's the challenge comes in different ways, right? And the later games kind of got more into developing that AI, because I mean, when was the original release of Demon's Souls?
I believe it was 2009 in the US. 2009, over a decade ago.
So yeah, I mean, and that AI has come a long way in that amount of time, right?
Well, and thinking about the RAM and memory limitations of that console, how they had to circumvent so many things to make that game work, and now we have all this extra power, and it's like, it's like this much of this, whatever the camera is. Like, but now it's just it's beautiful and it's awesome. I can't wait to actually play multiplayer with you. And
right. And I know that there's not a ton of PS5 exclusives, and for somebody that's kind of a fan of the series, I would definitely say that this is a, you know, must buy if you're even remotely into these types of games. However, I will say the standout game to me was Sackboy Big Adventure or whatever. Like, I thought that game played really well. My kids had a ton of fun. I mean, it got to the point where they were both wanting to play, but I only have 2 controllers, right? Like, because there's no online
dare
play and
you.
everything else, like, don't want to spend another $70 to get another controller. But, you know, I would end up passing it off and walking away. But like, I was watching them play. They were like having a ton of fun together. Like, they don't play a lot of video games together. It's like Roblox and Fortnite. So to see them pull away and play this together was like a lot of fun. I felt like the game
Out of nowhere.
super
too.
detailed. It was very fun. They're definitely going for like the Mario of PlayStation, so to speak. And I'm okay with that. It's good to stick with the mascot. The gameplay has been pretty fun. And for me, it was a great way to play with my kids, you know, that we could play this multiplayer and kind of have fun and experience it together. And so that was something that for me was really neat. And the music, the soundtrack is like
great.
I mean, I'm just jamming,
So good.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was like a sort of maybe even better than I expected. I know that the overall campaign, or whatever you want to call it, is they're saying it's a 12 to 15 hour game, which I'm okay with, but
for a collectathon kind of game, that's fine, because there's a lot to go back for.
Yeah, and it is very much that like 3D platformer Mario-esque, but it's still kind of rooted in Little Big Planet for a lot of the, like the different camera angles and stuff. But yeah, I thought that one was really, really good.
Yeah, that I started playing it tonight, just to try something else, right? I was like, oh, I haven't played that yet. Whoops, been playing Demon's Souls all day, and I hopped on it, and I was like, to Kate, I was like, do you want to play? Like, it's got 2 players. She's like, no, I'm good, I'll just watch. I was like, okay, whatever. And so I'm playing, and then finally I was like, screw it. So I handed her a controller. We put her PlayStation Network on there, and we were up and running in a couple minutes. And the multiplayer was just so fun. Like, it was just like, I was just grabbing her and throwing her off cliffs and stuff. Like, we couldn't pick up items. We couldn't reach items. She's like, how are we going to get that? And I was like, huh! Yeah. And as I threw her up there, you know, like, just fun little things. Like, it's just, it's just pure joy. Like, it's funny, it's quirky, it's got a great soundtrack. The haptics, again, it's in there, you know. It's utilized that stuff, the activities to jump between the things and all the stuff. And while we were playing together, you know, you hopped in voice chat and you came through my controller and you're like, hey man, you know, we were talking a little bit, just right there, no headset, whatever. Yeah. And Kate was like, oh, hey Sean, whatever. All right, see ya. Boop. Yeah. And that just was another moment where I'm just like, this is so nice. Like, the PlayStation 5 is just nice. Yeah. It's like the nice guy.
And another thing to point out is, you know, the system doesn't come with a little headset, earbud piece, nothing. There's no, but the controller for
those sucked anyways.
Well, and that's the thing. And because of the way that it's built in and they have the microphone and the noise canceling, you and Kate were coming through both pretty well. Like, I could hear and it wasn't like overly loud or anything. But for that to pop in and just be like, oh, hey, yeah, man, I'll be on in a little bit or whatever, that was almost better than giving you a headset, right? And you don't have to be like, oh, where's my headset? I got to plug it in or I got to turn it on. It's just like,
jam it in the ear.
Drain right in. Hey, man, what's up? Oh, yeah, you want to get down on a Destiny raid? Okay, yeah, give me 20 minutes. All right, I'll see you then. Right? Like, nice, easy way to pop in and out.
Kate actually was like, oh, it's like a walkie-talkie. You know, which it's even better than that because you don't have to do the button and the wait thing, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, man, I backwards compatibility too. I know.
Yeah, I actually wanted to move on to that. Yeah. I played God of War, and I don't know if I actually booted up anything else really in backwards compatibility, but
that's fine.
Yeah, I gotta say, God of War is stunning. I tried to play this on the PS4 Pro months ago and was like, I want to play through New Game Plus, and there was something about the frame rate that I couldn't get down with, and being a PC player on high refresh, you know, of the last couple of years,
I was gonna say that's
it's hard to play 30, and while it's not doable, I can totally play games at that. It's just not a preference, but and the performance mode on the PS4 Pro kind of wavers in between 40 and 50, which just doesn't look good. But man, booting it up in performance mode, it just felt like a nice solid 60. It was crazy. And I even to just prove to myself, I switched over to the, you know, fidelity or graphics favoring mode, and it was like a slideshow in comparison. And it's cool how you can go into the menu and flip between the two and be like, wow, this is what this game needed. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I said before on social media and stuff, I was like, you can take all your power, your consoles, your blind corporate loyalty to all these big machine making monsters, whatever. And 1080p, 60 frames a second looks amazing on God of War.
Yeah.
It's 1080p.
100%.
If you didn't tell me, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It just looks amazing. Like all the just the artistry, the upscaling, the post processing, everything. It just like pulls it all together, and then you have the 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It really
that
adds
game
that
needs it.
extra layer to the experience.
So give me Bloodborne. So update Bloodborne and give me 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
I agree. And I really hope that this kind of becomes the mantra of this console, is that, you know, developers continue to give us options. I know Miles Morales has the ability to play in 60 FPS. I can't remember if it's 4K native or dynamic or 1080p or whatever it is, but I want that option, because like seeing those two side by side, 30 versus 60, I will take 60 all day, every day. There's a very few times with ray tracing where I might take it. However, it might also be a thing where it's like, oh, I want to, you know, see it pretty a couple of times, and then I'm like, turn on the performance mode. But from my understanding and everything that's been reported by, you know, numerous outlets, including Digital Foundry, with a lot of their breakdowns on backwards compatibility, I'm just excited to kind of play a couple of these older games a little bit refreshed. Did you get to play anything else that was backwards compatible?
I did. I played No Man's Sky with the PS5 update, and that utilized some of the haptics for like your engines on your spaceships and stuff, and it was very smooth, 60 frames.
Nice.
Really nice. Huge improvement over PlayStation 4 Pro, which struggled to keep 30.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I booted up The Last of Us 2, 30 frames, so I turned it off.
Yep.
Fantastic game. I'm not saying that. You saw the 5 top games of the generation. If you haven't, go watch the video. I love that game.
We'll put it at the end.
Yeah, I just really hoped that there would be something, but maybe Naughty Dog's working on it. I don't know. Genshin Impact, I had to try because that ran like poop on PlayStation 4, and silky smooth. As smooth as my phone version.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Hooray.
Yeah, like good job. But those were the ones I tried. You know, God of War as well, because like, oh my goodness gracious, silky smooth. Like I want to try Red.
PS5.
Yeah. After Dark or Demon Souls. But for backwards compatibility, pretty limited. I do have to touch on potential game of the year, Bug Snacks. Downloaded Bug Snacks. Reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. I don't get it. It's in my library now. I'm embarrassed, but here it is.
Hey, we got it for free, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to touch on, because we're both wearing them, is the Pulse headset integration now that we have the PlayStation 5, because I know that we kind of gave our hot take in another one of the videos, which I can also link at the end here in one of the boxes, about our kind of take on it, but we got to use it on the PlayStation 4 and PC and stuff, but we hadn't used it on the PlayStation 5. So I just want to start off and say, until some other third-party company comes out with an official headset, this is the one to have for the PlayStation 5.
It's amazing.
I tried out my Logitech headset that has a USB dongle, figured it would work fine. It just doesn't have a lot of the options, and your volume, when you go to change the volume on the headset, it just like my headset beeps telling me it raised the volume, but there's no integration with the system at all. If you want to change the game volume voice chat mix, you have to pause and go into the menu or the PlayStation button, whatever you want to do. There's lots of steps if you want to do that kind of stuff. Here, you plug it in and it reads it, and you hit the volume up, and a little thing comes up on the side of your screen that says like your volume. Oh, you hit the mixer thing, it does
it's a
shows
great
you
interface.
the bar or whatever. You hit the mute, it changes it on your controller to show that your mic is muted. It lights up orange. So like they even like tie together. So
I didn't know that.
Like not only does the audio at the end of the day sound better on the PlayStation 5, I thought both of our microphones
100%.
sounded way better than using it on PC, and the overall audio experience 10 times better than whatever we talked about in our review when I tried using
100%.
it. Like the comfort is, I still have issues with. It's not the best. It still feels very open back. Like it doesn't close off a lot of stuff. I have a lot of wish list items for this, but I think overall for $100, this is the headset to have. It is the most integrated. It is very sleek the way it all connects together. I'm very impressed overall.
Yeah, I can't think of much more to say about that. 100%. The bass and the fear that comes into Demon Souls. Like, you heard me a couple times and I go, oh god, oh, and you're like, what? Like what are you doing, idiot? You know? And I'm like, sorry, it was like a fireball, and it just was like past my ear. Like, it really just adds to the immersion. That with the haptics, again, audio.
Yeah, and I think the 3D audio works out very well from what I could tell, you know, but it definitely brings the whole overall experience together. And like I said, as far as I know, no other headsets with a USB dongle, while they will work technically, it will just not have the level of integration, which is kind of you know, Apple's thing, right? It's all about being in the ecosystem. Once you have one piece and then you start getting more, and like, it makes sense because they all work together. And here we're experiencing the same thing where it just 100%. It works with the system way better than anything else will. So if you're on the fence, I know they're sold out everywhere. They're still hard to get, but if you're on the fence, I think it's worth a go, especially during this holiday season while everybody's got extended returns. Give it a shot. It's a good headset, and I know a lot of people are upset that there's no optical audio out for a lot of their other headset options, like the Astros and other stuff that would use a digital audio or out, which doesn't exist on the PlayStation 5. It sucks. Right. This is the headset to get. Until they come out with another version or third-party companies have compatible ones, this is it.
100%. I can't think of anything else again to say. They're great. They're just fantastic. Overall thoughts for day one though, I have no complaints. I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any crashes. I haven't had any real bugaboos that have been plaguing others. Doesn't mean they're not going to happen. Yeah, you know,
and it's going to happen with any mass-produced items, specific, you know, especially technology. Like, it's just going to happen. It's the same deal when, you know,
and it's 2020. Multiply it by 10.
Some iPhone owners, they get, you know, phones that explode or light on fire, or there's defective units. It happens, right? We're just hearing about it because it's something to be upset about. You're going to post on Twitter and Reddit, and we're going to hear it, right? It's going to be a small percentage, but we're going to see it and we're going to hear it, and it sucks. But I really hope that Sony has some, additional units set aside for swap outs for these people. It sounds like several people are having power supply issues, so it sucks. But, we're going to get through this. Definitely same perspective, though. Day one, I couldn't be disappointed. It's super easy setup, very slick. Like you said before, by the time you got signed in, Astros was installed, and it was already installing a game, you know, that you got to choose when you were logging in.
It was really nice. That's a really cool little thing. It was like, oh, dude, you pre-ordered these? Slap them on your machine. And I was like, okay.
Give it to me.
Let's go.
So overall though, I mean, gameplay feels great. The system feels smooth. I'm very happy. Like, really, if you can get your hands on a PS5, there's no reason to have a PS4 because of the backwards compatibility. You're getting the best of all worlds. You're just getting a better piece of hardware that's going to play this entire library of games. And as much as any, Sony fanboys might want to try and take a dump on Xbox for their backwards compatibility that they've had for a long time, like, oh, that's all they got is backwards compatibility. I think that's something that really sort of defines a system, right? Like, your PlayStation, you want to have all these great titles. That's why Xbox and PC players for a long time, like, oh yeah, I can play Half-Life from 10, 20 years ago on a new PC because that's just the way it works. And I want to see that going forward more. And I'm glad that we had this because realistically, if I only had Demon Souls and Sackboy, would I be okay right now? Sure, I'd be fine. But I'd only have 2 games to flip-flop back and forth between. And having those other titles to be able to go back, and not only that, you get better performance. It's just
a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's great. I want to see it continue. I know that we won't really see that until next generation, but I hope that they keep this because that was really nice. The fact that we can go back and play these games, like Neo's got another DLC coming out. Cool, we can play it on the PS5 now together. Like, that's awesome. So I'm just really excited for what the future holds.
Yeah, controller's great, console's great. It doesn't need to be stated any more than it's already been said on the internet. It's big.
Oh, huge.
It's a massive console.
Huge.
Like, it's like, I don't want to say the word, but it's thick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's It's a big console. It's a statement piece.
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Whatever that statement is, I don't know, but it's one of those things. It's like, what is that? What is that? And it's like, it's a PlayStation 5. I don't dislike the look of it. I just know it's controversial.
Yeah.
In the design language, but it's big. It's quiet, very quiet. I haven't heard it.
Yeah. No, it's very, very quiet, but yeah, overall,
Super good.
Very, very
Fantastic.
happy. I'm super excited. If you guys are still here and you got an Xbox Series S or X or a PlayStation 5, let us know in the comments your experience, your
Next
thoughts,
Gen November.
your opinions, because we got to get this. Got to get this bread, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. It's late. Whatever.
Yeah, we've been on an epic roller coaster. So, without any further ado, Game Club out.